recording.
It's recording right now.
Yeah, it's starting right now. Um,
Right.
so this, I'm just starting. I'm just getting into the mode of getting myself back into a schedule and shit. So I'm trying to get my podcast back up. Trying to stream. I've been streaming the past 3 days. I've been trying to stream the past 3 days.
Mm.
Just I'll do two to 4 hours at least if I could squeeze that in without getting bored.
Good.
Um, Getting my YouTube shit back up. I'm shifting it to more discussion type videos instead of gameplay because it's like I'm phasing out of that content. But so Don't Man's Sky just came out.
Yeah.
We were both. I think you were a lot more excited than I was, but then again, you're always like
I'm always.
you're always a lot more excited. So
That's kind of my thing.
yeah. But I haven't seen any reviews today, and the reason I went to this podcast today was because while streaming, one of my friends, Bernie, you know Bernie, so like
Yeah.
he came and he's like, so how's this game? Because the game got pretty like crappy reviews, and I'm like, really? And then told me that some reviews were even pointing it toward like in the 30s percentile. So I was like, wow. I was like, what, really? And I was like, I didn't like. To me, the game wasn't really mind blowing as I thought it was gonna be, right? But then again,
Well,
that's like
first
to
of all,
have.
well, first of all, let's establish some foundations here. First of
Okay.
all, follow our friend Bernie at Big X on Twitter. Um,
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If here as my general rule for anything video games, if I already know that I'm excited by a certain game, I have a process, right? I have a process. So the process starts with me finding out about a game. Like for example, Paragon, right?
Right.
I love Paragon because of that press conference at the reveal, right? The reveal of Paragon kind of made me feel like, whoa, this aesthetic is pretty cool. I like this, I like the look of this game. I can't wait to find out more. And the more I found out about the game, I was like, okay, I'm in. I like this. It's a MOBA, third-person shooter. Aesthetic speaks to me. It's
Mhm.
aiming to be competitive, so it's speaking to me on all levels that I want. Right. At that point forward, I'm not looking for any more trailers. I'm not looking for any more review discussions,
Mhm.
previews. I'm not looking for more any of that. Right. And I treated No Man's Sky the same way. When at PSX, I think, or at one of the reveals, I somebody or Sean Murray, the the lead on Hello Games, Hello
Right.
Games made the game. He said something about like, you can explore. It's procedurally generated. You can explore planets. There are trillions, if not or billions, if not trillions, of planet-sized planets and solar systems, star systems. I was in. I was already in. Now, just me being a gamer, I know that when anybody says procedurally generated, that means it's not going to be handcrafted. That means it's not going to be like it's like a difference between think about it. How engineered is the story in Fallout versus in The Last of Us? The Last of Us, it's a clear ride. Everything that you're
Right.
seeing is
Right.
handcrafted for you to see by the developer, right? So it's a more fine-tuned experience, right? Whenever it's open world or procedurally generated, it's kind of a trade-off, right? Like the trade-off is, do you want the handcrafted experience that's shorter and smaller, albeit it is a lot more, it's more focused.
Mhm.
Every minute of that game is designed by the developer for you to feel a certain way. They're attempting to control your experience at every step of the way. Whereas if it's open world, the developers just leave all these things around you in hopes that you will, do certain things the way they're intending for you to do it, right? So they're relying more on the world to shape you, or the rules that they set on the world to provide you an experience, right? So when I heard that No Man's Sky was going to be procedurally generated, I did not expect anything that's like it's gonna be a handcrafted world and every moment of it's gonna be fucking amazing
Right.
and all this stuff. That's just my expectation at that point, right? And then, obviously there were news about like, oh, it's gonna be multiplayer, oh, it's gonna be, there's gonna be base building, there's gonna be trading, and all this stuff. There's gonna be all this interaction with the world, And I was like, all right, cool, that's awesome. Hope it makes out. But I didn't. I've had previous experiences with games before where I've been burned by expectation. That's why I always go into media blackout whenever a game that I know I want is coming, because like I already know if something is hyped, they're gonna bombard the shit out of it.
Of course, like anything.
They're gonna bombard my Twitter feed, because I follow all the gaming outlets, right? Like
Yeah.
Polygon, Kotaku, and all that stuff, for news, right? So if anything related to this overhyped game is coming out, obviously it's gonna draw a lot of clicks. So they're gonna bombard my feed, everybody's feed, right? So that's just the nature of the game. That being said, when I played this game and I experienced what I experienced, right? I didn't. I wasn't disappointed in the way that I thought I was gonna be disappointed, because I thought I was gonna. I was like heading into this game. I was like, you know what? If this game's gonna disappoint me, it's probably gonna be because it's not as open as I thought it was gonna be, or it's not as
Hmm.
gonna be. It's not gonna be as It's not gonna be as variable, right? There's only I was like I was certain that I was gonna hit the walls around the creation, right? The walls of the box, so to speak, right? I was
Yeah.
certain of that. I was like, there's no way that they can make this happen, right? And what happened for me is the complete opposite of that. I was disappointed because it was so open. It was so open to the point that there was no reason to stay on any planet. No reason.
Right. Right.
There is literally like if I touch down on a planet and I name it and I find like some kind of resource in it, I was like, well, should I stay here and farm this out, or but why should I farm it out? What's the point? Where if I just jump the next system or the next system after that or the next system after that, what's the chances of me finding something, that's like this? Right? Probably none, but what am I giving up? Because I only have a certain amount of time, right? Everybody only has a certain amount of time to play, right?
Hmm.
What if what I'm finding right now is cool? Like for example, the first day I found Heridium. It's a pretty which I later found was a pretty common resource, right? It's a
For
silicate.
hyperdrive, right?
Yeah, for the hyperdrive, right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, there's this giant block of Heridium that's just lying out here in the fucking field.
Yeah.
There's nothing else around it. It's this giant block of dark blue shimmering silicate, right? I was like, oh my god, this fucking planet must be. I got lucky because I'm like 3 steps away from my hard drive or my hyperdrive, and this giant block of the resource that I need, that everybody probably needs, is right here, and I have it.
Wait,
Right, so I start.
was it on your first planet?
Yeah, it was on my first planet.
I found Herdium too, but remember we were in the chat and it took me maybe half hour just walking in one direction to actually find it. So like you get lucky like you did, or
Yeah,
you
so
know.
there, I was disappointed because, all right, so to rein in my point, I guess, I was. I'm gonna take you through phases, all right?
Mm,
So I'm gonna start with my disappointments with the game, and then I'm gonna go into what surprised me in the game,
mm.
and then what I appreciated about the game. So there, I'll give you a spectrum, all right? So we're gonna go into obviously it's gonna be spoiler.
It doesn't matter. Like,
I'm not too sure. Well, actually,
hmm? You like cut out for a sec. Actually, I can't even hear you now. Hello? Oh no. You like phased out and you come back. Oh shit.
Hello?
Yeah, there you go.
My bad.
He was like phase one.
I'm gonna give you so
Right.
to start over again. I'm gonna give you phases. I'm gonna
Yeah,
give
yeah.
you points where which what disappointed me about this game, what I really what surprised me about this game, and what I really appreciate.
Hmm.
So first of all, disappointment stems in the fact that obviously we're gonna be like I said earlier. I don't know when you cut out, but like I said earlier, we're gonna be I'm gonna be spoiling a lot because I've spent a
Hmm.
considerable amount of time with this game.
Yeah,
Um,
a lot more than I have. I have maybe
yeah,
a good 20 hours put into
yeah.
it.
I haven't really stopped playing since it came out.
Yeah, you skip a whole day of work.
Yeah, well, I didn't skip. I called off.
Or you called off. Still, you skipped out on
That's
work.
good.
Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out. Hold on. I'm just trying to. I'm playing the game right now, actually. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm trying to find gold in this fucking tropical planet. Anyways, um, so what really disappointed me about this game was there's not really a big point to do anything.
Right. That was one of my disappointments as well.
There's really no impetus for anybody to do anything. Like there's nothing really compelling. Like the whole game is hinging. It hinges on the fact that, or it's hinging on the allure of exploring the cosmos,
Hmm.
right? I think everybody can agree on that. That was the
Yeah.
whole point. That's the whole point. The entire point of the fucking game, right? I don't think anybody is excited about, you know, just trading,
Yeah.
right? Or right? Everything is based on exploration.
Hmm.
But for an exploration game, and I've seen this point circulated around, and I completely agree with it. For a game that champions and encourages exploration, it actually discourages you a lot to explore. Because think about it. Everything you do just by breathing the air on any planet, or most planets, it takes away from your resources,
Hmm.
right? And these resources are not hard to find, they are tedious to find. So there's a
Exactly.
difference,
Yeah.
right? It's not hard to find plutonium on a planet, but it's very tedious. It's very like you don't want to do it. Why would you? Like
Hmm.
it's not fun finding it because it's around every corner. It's around every corner, but it's you have to collect it and all that stuff. And not to mention that you're so there's three things that you have to look out for. There's life support, there's hazard protection, and there's shields.
Hmm.
So three things that you have to juggle as a player just to survive on a planet, right? So, for example, your shield is something that governs how much damage you can take from anything from animals to sentinels that hit you or anything like that, right? Shields, fall damage, whatnot. So, and your hazard protection is the thing that protects you from cold, right? From the cold or from if the temperature's too
Like the
temperatures,
radiation and shit.
yeah, radiation, um, or if the temperature's too hot,
Yeah.
or if the air is too toxic, stuff like that, right? And then your life support is your oxygen,
Hmm.
um, and not just underwater, but the thing that's I don't even know if it's oxygen because you never know what you look like in the game because nobody's
Right.
ever seen anybody else in the game,
Yeah.
right? So right there's three things that you have to keep in check before doing anything, right?
Hmm.
And it's very annoying.
Right, and it's like from my experience too. Like I don't know where you're at if you can upgrade those things or not, but it seems like they as soon as you land, they're already getting hit. So like
Yeah,
if you're out there for already a minute, you're almost at 50%.
yeah. It's definitely like how do I say this? It's definitely a chore to do these things, but you can upgrade these things. You can upgrade them, but it's never gonna get to a point where it's like, wow. I don't even notice anymore. It's a constant thing
Mm-hmm.
that bugs you. So that's what I'm talking about when it discourages exploration. And I haven't even gotten to the fact that like in order for you to to travel anywhere, you have to you have to have a pulse jet, you have to charge your pulse jet, and you have to charge your launch pad.
Your
So there's
thrusters or what the hell?
yeah,
Yeah.
there's two different resources for you to move. So
Right.
it's very discouraging of exploration. And I'm sorry for, anybody that thinks otherwise, but that's definitely the case. Yeah. It's not.
Yeah. It's funny too, cause like I didn't really think about it that way, but there was no point at the time where I was like, oh man, I really want to explore. Aside from the first time I was playing, cause everything was so new. Like that first 2 hours that I played when we were online, it was
Mhm.
just everything. It felt fucking magical. I was like, holy
Yeah,
shit, I could go anywhere. Like I could
yeah,
do almost anything I want.
yeah. And it hinges on that.
Yeah.
The entire game is reliant on that feeling. But the problem is that it doesn't last very long. And not
Yeah.
only does it last very long, there's nothing really compelling to these planets. There's nothing, as far as I've
Exactly.
seen, there's nothing that compels you to do
Hmm.
anything in the planets, right? So
Right.
it's very disappointing. That's very disappointing on the game's part. And I think I'm gonna die in this cave system because I don't have enough oxygen. Uh, and there's I'm underwater in this cave system, and it's just stupid. Like I just died. Like it's not the game developers' fault. It's my fucking fault.
We're not paying attention.
No, it's not even paying attention. I explored an underwater cave, and I
uh,
know, and I know that this isn't like, I know that the developers aren't looking out for me. It was like, well, we got to make sure that caves let out places for you to breathe. No, a real cave in a real fucking planet elsewhere won't think about a fucking player like that. You know what I mean?
mm,
So, that's something that I'm surprised by. So moving on to that part of um because that's most of the things that disappoint me in that game is or in this game is basically what I said. Like there's no point to
explore.
exploring.
Yeah.
There's no there's nothing compelling, right? The wonder of exploring a planet that, it may not look the same, but how often are you going to see I look at these vistas and be like, "Oh, I can go over that bend." And who knows
Hmm.
what's going to happen over there. You know
Exactly.
what? Well, I know what's going to happen over there. It's going to be a bunch of fucking hills with resources that you probably are going to need to just keep walking. That's it.
Right.
And animals that look reskinned. That's it. Really. That's
Yeah,
really all.
and like interacting with those species isn't really that deep either. It's literally just you could take a picture, you could feed them, or you could kill them.
Yep. Picture.
So there isn't much you could do.
Yeah. So it's not very deep, which I understand because it's procedurally generated.
Yeah.
Again, it is not supposed to be handcrafted planets. And if they did that, there's no way a team of 14 or a team of a million people couldn't do a like a billion fucking planets or 18 quintillion planets, right? There's no way any team could do that and make it handcrafted each. That would be the most expensive game made in eternity, right? And it would probably need to take, it's just impossible. It's physically impossible, right? Anyways, so moving on to what surprised me about the game. It's surprising it from what I was saying earlier, it's surprising how vast it really is. And the amount of features that it's missing for something that's so vast, right? So, whenever you go into your galactic map, there are there's one waypoint, right?
Hmm.
There's a waypoint to the galactic core, right? So the middle of the galaxy, not the middle of the universe, the middle of the galaxy. And I'll talk about why that's significantly different, right? So the middle that's the first waypoint. The second notch on your waypoint list is free exploration. So literally, you could pick any star system anywhere, right? And you could scroll all the way, like it'd take you hours to scroll,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And pick that star system, put a waypoint on it, and you'll the game will set a course for you, right? And there's only a certain number. I don't know how many. It's like I think it's like 5, right? And the only way for you to be able to get back to
Or you cut off again.
fucking hell, dude. I don't know what's going on with Discord, dude.
I don't know. Oh, you
It's
came
been
back though.
it's been like this for like a couple of days now for some fucking reason. Anyways,
Hmm.
what was I saying last?
About saying the waypoint and
Yeah.
there's
So
5 something.
there's 5 there's you can only set 5 or 4 waypoints because one is dedicated to the re-exploration, right? So there are a number of things that can take those slots, right? So your custom waypoint, so you can put a waypoint in any star system,
Hmm.
right, and go to it, right? The game will remember it for you. And black holes, which if you encounter an anomaly in space, they'll give you coordinates to a black hole,
Hmm.
right? And these things called the Atlas interface. The Atlas is this thing that is supposedly controlling you and manipulating you into surveying the planets, all right, surveying the stars. So whenever you're uploading, so let's say for example you discover a planet or discover a solar system, it gives you an option to rename and upload, or just upload,
Hmm.
whatever it is. So it works in both ways. It's not just uploading to the internet; it's actually uploading to the Atlas, and that's one of the aspects of this game that's attempting to be compelling, right? Find out what the Atlas is, what the end game is for Atlas, right?
Right.
What is that, right? And sad to say, and I don't know if no, I know exactly that you're not going to be bummed out about this because it's super underwhelming. So the
Uh-huh.
point of the Atlas is pretty much getting the Atlas stones, right? So whenever you go to an Atlas interface, it'll give you an Atlas stone, right? Everybody's going to be tempted to sell it right away because uh, it it sells for about 60 grand, right?
Hmm.
It sells for about 60 grand, and this game it's not easy to make money, so it's definitely a grind to make money in this game,
Oh yeah.
right? So don't sell it or do, but I'll just tell you right now what those uses are for.
Okay.
So if you collect 10 Atlas stones at the 10th or at the 11th Atlas interface, it'll ask you, it'll give you the option to recreate a star which turns into a galaxy.
Hmm.
So you can name a galaxy. So you know how like everybody right now that's playing, everybody's playing on the Euclid galaxy.
Okay.
Everybody starts in the Euclid galaxy, right? Now, when you collect 10 Atlas stones, you can warp to a different galaxy and create it as your own.
Hmm.
Now, the issue with that is that it's pretty much New Game Plus. Or not even New Game Plus, it's just New Game.
Yeah.
Because it resets you all the way back. You'll find yourself in the same crash landed
Oh no way.
thing. Yeah. It's
Oh god. No fuck.
the same crash landed thing as you began the game with. So, your exosuit becomes back to your first level. Your ship becomes the shitty, 12
Oh
slot
shit.
spaceship,
Wow. That's
right?
so you could say that you beat the game by doing that since you're
Yeah,
already. That's wow. It's funny
you could
too
do
because
that.
like I was legit trying to go for like finding out what the fuck the Atlas was too. Like I was
Mhm.
3 in, so I had 3 stones. But today I legit was like, I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing anymore. Like I'm just gonna
Yeah,
sell these because I need to get like fuel for my hyperdrive to keep going.
yeah. So the cool thing about the hyperdrive is that there are levels to the hyperdrive, right? There's the first hyperdrive that you build, right?
Mm-hmm.
That can jump to maybe 100 to 150 light years, right? So basically one Starlink,
Mm-hmm.
right? One Starling. Once you upgrade it to the next level, which is Warp Reactor Sigma, you can jump around 300, 305 light years away,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's around three to four, around 3 to 4 Starlings, right? And then there's the second upgrade to it, which is the Warp Reactor Tau, and you can pretty much jump to like 800 or 900
Oh shit.
light speed or light years.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's one after that. I think is Theta. I haven't upgraded to Theta yet. That's what I'm working on right now,
Uh-huh.
and it's very it's definitely it's giving me a lot of hope to travel to the middle of the galaxy a lot faster, the galactic core a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
Because but the issue with that as well is like I said, for a game that champions exploration so much, they have so many obstacles. Because I've found that I've been warping around with my reactor, right, with my warp reactor Tau, right,
Yeah.
and every 2 or 3 jumps, my reactor breaks.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
I have to
I
repair it.
noticed that too. Like when my first black hole today, something
Uh,
like two things on my ship, like I guess
Bro,
broke. I was like, wait, what? I have to. God damn it! I have to go on planets, find the shit to
yeah.
fix.
And trust me, dude. Like once you start breaking your reactor, the the materials you need the elements that you need to repair it are a lot rarer.
Right.
Like I have to find 300 pieces of fucking nickel and 400 pieces of aluminum. Two very rare, well not very rare, but rarer than fucking iridium.
Yeah.
So, if like the general rule is that and I'm dropping fucking pro tips right now. The general rule for materials like this is if you find nickel on a planet, chances are it's the only neutral resource on that planet.
Wow.
Like it's rare for any planet to have nickel and aluminum in the same planet. So you're gonna have to jump around planets. So if you like, for example, last night and I'm transitioning now into something that I'm appreciative of the game, right? Because for all my complaints about this game about having not any compelling things to get you to explore,
Mm-hmm.
the survival aspect of this game, which I've complained about extensively as you've heard, it actually adds an incredible amount of immersiveness, like immersion. Sorry, immersiveness. Fuck. Immersion to
Mm-hmm.
the thing that I'm playing, because it's literally like I'm getting stressed out. Like I can't afford to break down on the solar system, because if there's only 3 planets in the solar system, like last night the thought process was going through my mind. There's only 3 planets in the solar system, and the 2 that I've visited so far have a frenzied Sentinel force and an aggressive Sentinel force. So what that basically means, so whenever you touch on our planet, it'll say Sentinels, it'll say regular, typical, or sometimes it'll go aggressive or
Mm-hmm.
frenzy. When it's aggressive, that means whenever a Sentinel sees you, they'll attack you in a coordinated way. Frenzied just basically means the same thing, but a lot faster. They'll come at you in like they won't mess around,
They'll
right?
just come.
They'll
Well,
just attack you for no reason,
wow.
right? So imagine trying to harvest the things that you need to build warp cells. Warp cells are the
Mm-hmm.
things that you need to fuel your hyperdrive. Because this was my last stop. I ran out of warp cells, right? Last night I ran out of warp cells. So I was like, anybody for everybody that you need, the things that you need to craft a warp cell is fucking uh 4 different materials, pretty much. It's you need
Plutonium.
well, first you need suspension fluid, which is made by
Yeah.
carbon. So let me just run you through how ridiculous it is to I don't know if this is the game's or the developer's way of saying hyperdrives are very expensive, and you need to go through a lot of things. So you need to take care of where how you warp, because You need a lot of resources, blah blah blah, right?
Mm.
So let me run you through how many things you need to power your warp cell or your hyperdrive. So you need suspension fluid, which requires 50 carbon, and then you need that to create electronic vapor, which requires one suspension fluid and 100 plutonium, right? And that makes the electron vapor. And the electron vapor is the thing you use to make an antimatter cell, right? Antimatter requires one electronic vapor, 50 iridium, and 20 zinc, right? And then antimatter is what you use to combine with thamium-9 to create a warp cell. So there's 4 degrees of separation in order to each of them have unique things that they need to upgrade, right? Pretty much every resource on a planet with the exception of iron, right? To make a warp cell, to charge up your hard drive, so that you can explore and do the same thing again. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like it's very it's very obstructive of exploration.
right. Yeah, like it's like I guess like the first couple hours, there was a lot of just trying to figure out how the game works and
Yeah.
just having fun with like this universe that you get to play with, right?
Yeah.
But once you start figuring out what you actually need to go to planets, or if you just set yourself the objective of doing whatever you want to do, or you just follow the game's objective and try to go to the center of the universe or whatever, it becomes this really repetitive like steps of just constantly going to planet, not finding what you need or finding what you need, going back to station, buying a suspension fluid, multiple sometimes, and then building it to warp cells, and then having it fuel your hyperdrive and go, and then you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over depending on what your objective is, right? Especially if you're just trying to go to the center of the universe. It seems there's multiple ways to upgrade so you could go get there faster, right? But then it just becomes even more, to me it just seems more tedious than fun to try to get there faster.
Yeah, I get that, and I'm completely. Not only am I aware, oh my god, I think there's velociraptors in this fucking cave. All right, so not only am I aware of how tedious it is, I'm down for that. I'll sign up for that type of stuff, right? I'll sign up for tedious stuff, but the thing is, there needs to be some kind of payoff, right? There needs to be some kind of like, well, you did all that stuff to get to a place, and what is the place? You know what I mean? It seems like so far in this game, it's only been like you get to the part where you can do it over again.
Exactly.
Which isn't very fun.
Yeah, and I guess that's where the problems I have with the game, because I think the game has accomplished something that no other game has accomplished yet, or all the games that I just haven't played, right? And I'm sure there's probably other games that have done it, but I just haven't heard of them or played them. But this game, for something that's on console and to run pretty much as well as it has the entire time, I know people have said that they've had problems with the game crashing, but the game has I've only had one crash in the 20 hours I've played. One in 20 hours, like to me that's like all right, like I was surprised when it crashed because I didn't know that people were getting crashes. So
yeah,
like,
it's not really a huge problem for me as well.
Yeah, so it's like the game has built something so massive that to me, like, the trying to really understand why, like, it seemed like so many people. Okay, I'm trying to not make it sound like how people are trying to overhype things, like how, let's say, DC movies are right now, and then how people overhype this game, because this game was hyped like crazy. The hype behind this game was insane. Like people, like there was no way, and we say this every single time when there's something like this that just this hype. There's never gonna be like a majority that are like, yes, they fucking did it, right? There's gonna be, you know, like those couple people, you know, like a
Yeah.
handful of people maybe they're like, oh fuck, I did, I definitely made all, they actually exceeded my expectations, right?
Hmm.
But those are very few, right?
Yeah.
And then you always get this divide, like whether the game's quality is good or bad, and you're always gonna have the people going back and forth whether the game is good or not, right? And to
Hmm.
me, I'm kind of stuck in the middle where I think the game is not necessarily bad, right? But I don't think it delivered on the hype because the hype was just too fucking huge,
It's
right?
huge.
Like
Yeah.
to me, the game is just average in terms of gameplay. But the
Yeah.
idea
Even
that,
that is a little, it's a little much to
yeah,
give it that.
and
Because it's
then
very clunky. It's
yeah,
very like it's not it's an awkward control scheme
it is.
to say the least, right? But to be honest, my concern about this game is that there's one thing yet I have yet to discover, which is the galactic core,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully what we find there. Also, all my complaints, like people have to take it a grain of salt as well, because it's like, yes, I've spent a lot of time with this game, but this game is also very fucking massive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe these things like my shit constantly breaking, maybe that's just the phase of the game where if I, once I upgrade far enough, because there are ships where, you know, like there's literally it costs like 97 million units to
Right.
purchase. You know?
Yeah.
And I haven't even got to the part where like upgrade placement is it's crucial actually. So if you put hyperdrive upgrades next to each other, you get an efficiency bonus, so you get to travel farther.
Hmm.
Or if you put like your mining beam upgrades like right next to each other, your beam gets more powerful than just if you just put it separately. You know what I mean?
So
So there,
is that like the thing where like behind the squares or whatever, or where the items are, they're like kind of
yeah,
highlighted?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they're highlighted,
Okay.
because you're getting an efficiency bonus.
Okay.
So that's the thing. And like I really, like I explained, somebody asked me on Twitter whether or how I thought about the game, and I replied, well, let me try to find that tweet. Um Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, you guys should follow me on Twitter if anybody's listening. Follow me on Twitter at opposite underscore. Hold on.
Damn, we've been at this for 40 minutes.
Have we?
Mm-hmm.
Oh damn.
38
So
minutes, but
yeah, so here's a tweet. Somebody asked me what do you think, what I think about the game, right? So in exactly 140 characters, I said, quote, boring and tedious 60% of the time, mildly interesting 35% of the time, and 5% of the time I feel like a drug addict and this is the fix. Because it really is. So moving on to the things that I really appreciate about this game is like, yes, there are at this point I have explored hundreds of planets. Not explored. Okay, let me repreface that. I have touched down and spent a couple minutes, not a couple minutes, maybe like 30 or 40 seconds on each of the planet that I've
mm-hmm.
touched down on, right? Because there's a lot. There's a lot. There's 18 quintillion fucking planets, right?
Yeah.
No, we're not gonna fully explore all of these planets, right? So, um, there are points where I have explored hundreds of planets, right? I touched down on all these planets, but there will be, and most of the time they're barren, they're deserted, barely anything grows on them. They're radiated, they're toxic. But every once in a while, maybe one in every 20 planets that I visit, there's gonna be a planet where there's fucking green grass, blue skies, and fucking cute animals, and the resources that I need, and weather that's perfect, so it's not destroying my hazard protection,
Mm.
and it's so incredibly Earth-like, and there's actual water and there's an ocean in it that's not toxic, that's not burning the skin off my fucking flesh. That it just makes me pause and think like, wow, like what are the chances of me finding a planet like this, right? Obviously it's 1 in 20, but it's like sometimes I'll go on like maybe I'll touch down on 75 planets, right? And all of them have been disgusting. I hate all of them because they're, maybe like 20 of them have like a sentinel infestation,
Mm.
like and it's incredibly depressing, right? But there's that one planet out of every 75 that just kind of breaks your heart and says like, yo, this planet is meant for you to explore. And obviously the developers aren't saying that because they don't know that this planet fucking exists,
Yeah.
right? Because it's procedurally generated. They wrote the rules that it can happen, but they don't know that this planet exists. And the fact that you can find it and you found it, right? Like it gives you a sense of ownership, and that to me makes the game worth it in a way. But I don't know if that's powerful enough, but it's definitely powerful. Like
Mm.
it's definitely kind of pulled at my heartstrings a little bit here and there. 'Cause it's just
Yeah, there's definitely planets I've countered that I've looked at. I'm just like, wow, this is just fucking beautiful. Like there's no other words. Like all I want to do is just walk around. Like
Yep.
I don't want to do anything else, and I'm just like this crazy that this was created with a formula. Like
Yep.
and there's like I'm like how like like
Right.
thinking about that and how massive the game is, and that
Yep.
there's it's funny that you found this one and this you could name it yours and it's yours, right? Because no one else has discovered it yet.
Hmm.
But then there's also millions of other planets that are like that
Yep.
other players have had this experience with where they've
Yep.
touched on it and they're just like, holy shit, this is
Yep.
fucking gorgeous,
And
right?
it's not the craziest part is that it's completely unique to them.
Exactly. That's also one of the strengths that this game has is because everyone could have a different experience or the same experience when touching on these like gems. Like
Yeah.
and it's a really interesting experience because no other game has really done something like that yet. And it's one of those things where it makes me really appreciate what the developers were
Yeah.
really going for, because even though with all the faults that and all the shortcomings that it did have, like for my expectations, like
Mhm.
having those moments, like especially because I didn't pay for the game, so it's, I'm really appreciative. So to me it's just like fuck, like
Yeah.
holy shit, this is so fucking dope.
Yeah. And there are very few games that can do that. Very, very few.
Yeah,
Even
and
handcrafted games that can make you feel like that. You know what I
mhm,
mean?
yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's not to put words in other people's mouths or anything like that, or not to assume, but I am assuming at this point it's like that's what a lot of people are, chasing. That feeling of childlike wonder. It's like,
Mm.
because it doesn't diminish what you're seeing, because you can 100% believe that this planet that you fucking found that's taking your breath away, you know what I mean? Like that planet has never existed before
Mm-hmm.
in anybody's eyes, right? Ever. Because it's procedurally generated. It's not.
Exactly.
It's completely unique to you, and you can name it. And if you put your waypoint on it, you can find your way back to it. I mean, it'll take you weeks probably,
Right.
because they're using real measures of distance, like the thing that I was saying, like when we first started playing.
Yeah.
When I launch off of my home planet, my original planet, I looked at the meter and it said arrive in 1 hour for the space station, the nearest space station. I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. There's no way I'm gonna sit here for an
Yeah.
hour, just aiming for this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And
And
obviously I figured out a way to,
yeah,
speed up and all that stuff. But
yeah, and it's interesting too because like you could have it just be this awesome planet that you only get to see ever,
mhm.
right? And then it'll just exist,
Yep,
and then like you said, you could go back to it whenever you want,
yep.
and the game could either have it so someone else actually comes along and lands on it and sees that it's been discovered already, right? Or not.
Mhm.
And like that to me that's fucking crazy to think
That is
about.
amazing. That is
Like
amazing. Give me one
just
second.
saying. All right, good.
Yeah. So what were we talking about?
I was just saying that our planets could either exist on their own and never be looked at again by any other person, or
You can go back to it.
you go back to it. So, um,
And
I
that's the
don't
thing too.
know.
Like that's the thing that's lacking
Mm-hmm.
with this. I don't know if it's lacking or maybe I'm just complaining. But it's like there's no coordinate system. Like there's no way for me to share that world with anybody.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Like unless you're streaming or capturing it,
Yeah.
like there isn't really any other way people are gonna see that planet,
Like
and
that kind of, I don't know, that adds to the experience because it's like there's like a yearning for me because maybe it's just because we live in a world where sharing everything is,
yeah,
that's the thing that you do nowadays.
social
But
media.
yeah, social media and all that, the sharing age or whatever you want to call it. It's like there's a there's an urge, an incredible urge for me, and call or for me to like just share it. You know what I mean? And it it
Yeah.
it saddens me sometimes. And it's like, well, there's nobody else will be able to see this ever. I'm the
Right.
last person to ever see this, and I'm going to forget about this planet probably because this is the 13th planet that I've named opposite Prime. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of it's a game that tried to like hit something. Actually, I don't even know like that if the developers are really looking for something else aside from just being this game where you kind of just observe a lot, and just travel and observe what it looks like to me. Like if they try to go for anything else, like they obviously failed. But if the game was just that, they've exceeded like what they set out to do. Like I don't, there's nothing else for me to tell developers like you guys fucked up on like delivering what you were telling us the game was going to be about. So like I have no other thoughts about No Man's Sky aside from like it's an experience. Like it's a game that I think is not worth the $60 price tag
Hmm.
because those moments are very just
It's very rare and it's very hard earned.
yeah, and some people might not have the attention span to do all that
Exactly.
work just for that moment. But
Yeah,
for those people that have already experienced those moments, they know that
it is worth it.
that is worth it. Or some of them probably don't think it's worth it, and they've just sold the game if they got a hard copy or or just delete it off their hard drive or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Well, another the last point I guess I want to make about this
mhm,
game, it's a lot of people. It didn't. There are a lot of features that the developers talked about, especially Sean Murray.
mhm.
He talked about a lot of things that they're going to add in the future,
Okay.
like something that's explicitly said in a bunch of interviews was base building and trading, right,
Mm-hmm.
and actual multiplayer, right, and it didn't make it in the game, in the base game, but they have said extensively that they will be providing a lot of free updates in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that like somebody helps them out, like in I hope that somebody helps them out because it's like they're 14 people, dude. Like,
Yeah, you gotta look at that too. Fucking 14 people made a game this fucking massive. Even if most of the
yeah,
worlds you go to, it's fucking shit. You know, it's hard to say that with 14 people they royally screwed up. I don't think they did.
yeah. Like it's crazy, you know. Like it's you can't.
Yeah. And obviously these guys have a lot of passion for what they were doing because it's 14 guys to stick around for that fucking long. How long this game has been in
4 years.
development? 4 fucking years. You know, like
Well,
that's a long time.
think about it. It's they made a game before this called Joe Danger.
Oh shit.
Everybody remember that shit?
Yeah. Holy
The
fuck.
fucking the fucking motorcycle game.
Yeah.
That was their first game, right? And going from Joe Danger to No Man's Sky, it's like, and I'm stealing this from the Comedy Button. Brian Altano said this. The Comedy Button. He said that going from Joe Danger to No Man's Sky is kind of like going to the park, putting out a bucket, and with your guitar and singing for tips,
Mm-hmm.
to going on a 70 city mega world tour in a day.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the difference. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fucking crazy what they've been able to do.
Yeah, and they get, to me they get fucking props, mega props for like pulling it off.
Yeah.
You know.
At the same time, it's like, okay, like you guys attempted something. There's only so much we could, do to applaud you guys for something that you guys tried to do.
Yeah.
But if we applaud everybody for what their intentions were, that wouldn't be.
Exactly.
But yeah, I applaud you guys. Obviously, like, you guys, not only is it a valiant effort, it's a noble effort. It's very ambitious and all that stuff. Awesome, but the people expect results.
Yeah.
Can they
Exactly.
can they deliver though? Can they deliver?
I don't know if like fucking those updates are really dope. Who knows?
Yep.
You know,
Hopefully.
they changed the gameplay up to something completely, like it's something that seemed that was missing.
Yeah.
You know, then
I
yeah.
feel like
But then again, it's also, are you gonna? To me, it falls in the same place as Destiny, where it's like we got this game at the beginning where it just felt so fucking empty, and I was doing all this shit that to me didn't seem important. But then 2 years down the road, this game is like almost completely different. Like gameplay is still the same, but like there's so much shit in there and so much shit to do that it's like, why the fuck did I just get the game like then instead of when it first came out? Like why
yeah.
wasn't that game out? Why wasn't, you know?
Yeah. Well, at the same time, it's like, I think, it's the hype, and
Of course.
it's fun. It's fun, obviously, right now. It's compelling enough for me to keep playing, at least for a little bit right now.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, the Galactic Core provides me with a little bit more of a payoff.
Yeah.
But obviously, I'm not like holding out for hope or anything like that.
Yeah. Like I think one thing that I hope this game does, or I don't know, maybe it's already happening, but I hope it shows other developers that with 14 fucking people being able to do something this huge, that
There's no excuse.
there's no excuse for other developers to really try something big, especially that this game's been in the pipeline for fucking 4 years, you know. With 14 people, like, come on, like, step your game up, guys. Even though, like, looking at the reviews now, the game hasn't been doing that well. It's like, fuck, hopefully it kicks up people's asses. But oh well.
Yeah.
Anyways, we've been at this for almost an hour, 55 minutes. Like I say, I'm trying to get my podcast back up. Just mixing it up, having you for any gaming shit is always a treat. You took over for like half hour, just fucking giving it your own review. Like, I appreciate that. I didn't want to stop you at all. You were on a roll. So yeah, I don't know how to end this shit. It's been so fucking long. It's been almost a year. It's probably been a year.
Yeah.
So I just want to keep doing these. You know.
Here's how you end it. Everybody can go fuck themselves. We out.
All right.